All right. Hello, hello. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. How you good people doing out there today? Hope all is well. Elaine Proby here, giving you guys some important tax deadline update today. Hi, hello, Belize. Thanks for jumping on. Thanks for jumping on. Yes, hope all is well. Good afternoon. Elaine Proby, CEO, PROBY'S Tax and Accounting, on here today, just giving you guys some live update on the tax filing deadline. So today I wanted to just bring to everybody's attention out there about the 2021 tax filing, because as of last year we had COVID just hit. All the deadlines was that was after after March 15th had been changed. And so a lot of people had got a little confused about whether or not they had filed extensions, and they thought that since the deadline in 2020 was extended to July last year, and they had an extension for 6 months, and they thought that the extended deadline was even further back. And some people were a little confused about that, and they thought they had much longer time, through December or so to file their taxes. I wanted to get on here early in the tax season here so that you guys can be aware of the 2021 tax deadline. And so we can at least make sure that we're back on track, because that's what it is now. It's back to the normal routine, okay? So the first deadline that we're getting into this year for taxes, guys, is March the 15th. And I want to really express how important the March 15th deadline is, because the March 15th deadline is for people who have an S corporation, anyone who are operating as a partnership, anyone who's operating as an LLC. You guys, the March 15th deadline is your deadline. It's not April 15th. Okay, so it's March 15th. And it's important to really get your taxes done if you are operating as a partnership or as an LLC or as an S corporation, because these entities are considered pass-through entities, which means that the profit and the losses from these businesses come to you for your personal tax return. Okay, so once you do your taxes for the March 15th deadline, you will get what is known as the K-1 from those businesses, and you would be able to then file your personal taxes. So until you file your business tax return, if you're an S corp or you're a partnership or an LLC, until you file those returns, you can't get your personal return done, because you need the documents from your business return to do your personal return. Okay, so don't miss the tax deadline for March 15th if you are operating as a partnership, an S corp, or an LLC. Now, if you can't get those taxes done because your paperwork, your accountant is not ready, make sure that you file an extension, guys. Make sure you file an extension, because there's a huge penalty for S corporations, LLCs, and partnership returns if you're not filed on time. And they will fine you for every partner that's in that return, guys. So it is so important. There's solid penalties if you don't file those returns on time. So if you're not able to do them, make sure that you get an extension. All right, make sure you get an extension. Okay, so let's move on to the next tax deadline is April the 15th. So April 15th this year, 2020, nothing have changed. April the 15th is the next deadline for you to file your individual taxes and for all the corporations to get their tax returns filed. So if you are operating as a C corporation, April 15th is your deadline. It's not March. April 15th is your tax deadline. Again, that's changed from March 15th a few years back. So April 15th is the deadline if you're operating as a regular C corporation. And it is also the deadline for individual taxes. Again, if you are not able to get your taxes done by these deadlines, guys, make sure that you file a extension, which will give you an additional 6 months to get those taxes filed. So if you're not able to get them done, don't forget to get your extension in. It's people who owe taxes, guys. It's huge penalties based on the tax liability that you owe. So you want to make sure that you at least get an extension if you're not able to file your taxes. Okay, so March 15th, April 15th. Now, the other deadline that's coming up. Hi, Cognac. Thanks for jumping on. Hey, Bronze Barb. Hello, hello. Thank you guys for coming in. Okay. So the next deadline here, guys, is for your nonprofit organization. A lot of you guys have a nonprofit organization out there now. The nonprofit are due 5 months after the end of the tax year. And these deadlines, of course, guys, I'm talking about everybody who's on a calendar tax year. So the nonprofit returns are due 5 months after the end of your tax year. So if you're in a calendar year, your nonprofit organization is due on May the 15th. And once again, if you're not able, you don't have all your documents, you don't have everything in order for you to get your nonprofit organization taxes filed, make sure that you file an extension. Again, there's a huge penalty for nonprofit who do not file their tax returns, okay? And of course, if you miss those deadlines for the nonprofit, you don't file a tax return, you stand the chance of losing your nonprofit status, depending on if you have back taxes. There's a lot of consequences. So it's so important, guys. I want to make sure that you guys take advantage of the extension if you're not able to get those taxes filed on time, all right? So the May 15th deadline is for the nonprofit organization. Again, there's a 6-month extension. So if you get a 6-month extension on that, it's 6 months. You have until November the 15th to get your nonprofit taxes filed. All right. So let me go back over these tax deadlines. And again, like I said, while we're talking about it, it's so important because last year, because of COVID, the tax deadlines have been extended. And with the extensions, you know, we had a longer time to file the taxes. However, a lot of people were still confused because when it was extended to July, they thought by them having an extension, they didn't have to file the taxes by October. So we want to make sure that we stay on top this time and we stay with these deadlines. Got to make a note of it. This is already January 20th, so time is really flying. The deadlines are super important for you to make sure you file your taxes on time, especially if your taxes. All right, so let's go over these tax deadlines. The first one coming up is March 15th. And again, March 15th, if you are operating as an S corporation, if you're operating as an LLC or a partnership, these entities are called pass-through entity, meaning that the profit and the loss or the loss from these entities come to your personal tax return, and you need that K-1 from there to file your personal taxes. And I emphasize that because it's such a huge penalty if you don't file any one of these entities' taxes on time. Okay, so make sure that you get an extension if you are not able to do it. The second deadline is April 15th. April 15th, again, guys, once again, for individual and C corporation. If you're a C corporation, April 15th is your deadline. So again, if you're not able to file, you want to make sure that you file for an extension and get an automatic 6 months to file. And then your return will be due October the 15th. Hi, Diamond Cole. Thanks for jumping on. Hey, Jamie Buckley. Yes. Hey, I miss you too. All right. Okay. So yeah, so April 15th is that deadline. And May 15th, guys, nonprofit, serious penalty if you don't file, serious consequences, especially if you owe back taxes on a nonprofit. If you haven't filed them in about 3 years, you have a chance of maybe losing your nonprofit status. And of course, you have to file all over again. And everybody know that process takes almost a year to get, 9 months, depending on how busy they are. Okay. So those are the important tax deadline this year. And I wanted to urge you guys, for the individuals, make sure you file your taxes as early as you can, because if you did not get your stimulus, if you did not get the first or the second stimulus check, or if you did not get enough because they missed something about a dependent, or you have a new dependent that you can put on your 2020 taxes, so you can get additional money. So you want to file your taxes as soon as possible and get your stimulus check and whatever refund you have sitting out there. Okay. All right, so that's it for the tax deadline. You guys make notes of that. It's very seriously important. We don't want penalties, and if you have money coming back, you want it as soon as possible. Hi, Anita Stone. What's going on? What's going on with your PPP? Okay, all right, we can talk about your PPP, Anita Stone. We can talk about your PPP, all right? So, I mean, today, the 19th, this is the day when all of the banks and everybody is open up to accept the PPP. So we can definitely talk about that, because this is the day all the banks, all the other financial institution is open up today to accept your PPP application. So you can get that in today. All right. Thanks for jumping on, guys. That's it for today. I'll be back on Thursday. On Thursday, we'll be back And then Thursday, we're going to be talking about, let's see, we're going to talk about creating your business structure, paying taxes, deductions. If you started an online business, we're going to talk about what you needed to do and what you need to pay attention to. So that's what we'll be discussing Thursday afternoon, guys. Come back, super important. A lot of you guys started an online business. And so I'll let you know what you need to do for that and what you need to look out for, and how you pay taxes, what kind of deduction, and the fact that what you need to do to make sure that your business is in good standing as well, even if you're operating online. Okay, so that's it for me today. Thank you guys for jumping on. All right. I'll be back on Thursday. I hope you guys stay safe, hang in there and stay strong, stay up, and we'll be back Thursday. Have a wonderful day. Thanks for jumping on. All right. This is